Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today's video is a bracelet that I have to say I just love this thing. If you saw last Friday's video, I made a pattern and I was pretty much convinced that it was going to be pretty cool. Um, it is. It is super cool. It is 14 strings coming down or 7 going into the loop. I used 14 strands because I double up my string, which made for a really cool Kumi. I'm probably like one of the very few that actually even does anything with like the weird number of Kumis. Well, I say me. I had my wife do it. But yeah, so 14 strands to make up the cool Kumi, which that looks awesome, by the way. I did a short about it, so you can go check that out if you want. This is not an easy bracelet. It's not over the top difficult either, but it is not an easy bracelet. Um, I did have to refer to the pattern for most of it. Um, Kind of like just as you're sort of getting into used to like doing a certain thing, then it changes up and then it changes directions and then it changes up again. So like there's kind of a lot going on, but that's sort of what gives it its charm. Um, I tried to find efficient ways about doing the whole pattern, and I'm not convinced that I did it the most efficient way for the most part. Um, But that said, it still went together pretty quickly. This is only sped up the 4 times speed, and for it being a little bit wider, because it's 7 strings instead of the 6 strings that I typically go for, um, it chugged along really quick, and I was pretty pleased about that. The colors that I chose, I think worked really well. I just went with the real basic rainbow, like the real, the red is just the red. The purple, however, is pretty dark. It is a pretty dark purple. Um, but the rest of the colors are sort of when you think of like the not even like good Crayola crayons. So you think about the ones they give you at the restaurant where, they're free for the kiddies. It's those kind of colors, the real basic orange, the real basic yellow, the basic green. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. Worked out well. Um, yeah. So in the making the pattern tutorial, I thought about like the idea of like trying to do the chakra thing through it, but then I kind of came to realize that um, the way it cycles through the colors, you wouldn't get the 7 chakras in the spots the right kind of way, right? Because it's gonna go back the other direction when you get to the middle. So I'm not sure that you really could do it. If you can, that would be really cool. If you got an idea like how you would do this differently, I'm all ears because I love like coming up with, other ways of doing stuff and hearing other people's ideas. So yeah, so I kind of came to the realization that that probably would not have worked. However, this I have it in my hand, by the way, and it is it is so pretty. I really like. I haven't like gotten this excited about a pattern in a while, um, because this is so different, right? This is it. The way that the beginning starts, it's just like a zigzag, arrowhead-ish kind of thing going on. And that kind of continues through even after the white comes into it. It's still doing sort of like an arrowhead. However, the ends of the arrowheads aren't there. So you still have like the zigzag going on. And like the white is the end of the arrowhead. And inside of it is the next color that's going to come up. And it only does that um, for a couple tries because you have the green one, like there's a green dot, and then the green comes down. Then the yellow dot, the yellow comes down. The orange dot, it happens, but then the orange kind of barely gets out before it comes back in to go for the other side. And then the red, it doesn't even happen. It's just a dot in the very center of it. So it's kind of like this little gem thing in it. Um, it's really, I don't know. I'm super excited about it. I had a lot of fun making this. Um, and again, I tried to think of like what was I going to talk about, and was there a lot of things, and um, not really, because typically like when I have a lot to say, it's because I was upset with something or something didn't go to plan or whatever. I think this one went pretty much exactly as I imagined it. Um, I'm really happy to have gotten it finished, to be honest, because when I first came up with the idea, it kept me awake. Like I was so, oh my God. And then it'll come down and it'll do a thing. And I hadn't even really gotten it completely thought through, right? And you'll see that if you watch the pattern making video for this, right? When I got to where the blue came out from around the white ones, I suddenly realized if I didn't add something to it, it wasn't going to go to a zigzag or an arrowhead. It was going to go to a chevron, and that was the last thing I was looking to do with this. And I had to make a decision, like how big is the end of the arrowhead, because it could have been where it's goes by out 3 knots, in 3 knots, and then has the dot in the center. I very well could have done that. Um, but I opted for the smaller little thing. And I don't know what prompted that, but I think it was the right call because there wasn't a lot of space to be able to have very many colors going forward. If we had done that, um, the blue would have happened, the purple would have happened, and then the red would have just kind of gone off to the end. You wouldn't have had it, because this way it goes blue, purple, red, orange, and then the yellow is off the end. So we got more colors, off to the two ends, this end and the top part of the bracelet. We got more colors this way. And so I really think it was the right call. Mind you, this would be a really fun pattern to play with, um, where maybe you were doing single strands, because with the single strands, you could fit more from the top to the bottom. This is 20 knots from the top middle to the center, and then 20 knots past that. So you'll only have, 39 knots long coming down the middle. I know okay, I don't know, but I've heard that the other websites have like a row counting system, but it counts the every other one, which is a little bit weird to me. I mean, in a way, it sort of makes sense, but in a way, it's like extra work or something. Like there's no the other rows sort of come with it anyway, so you don't. I don't know. Maybe I'm lazy. I don't know. But I guess if you're going by the other way, it would be just short of 80, I guess, 80 rows in all. No, right? 20, 40, so 39. Yeah, somewhere just short of 80. I'm not sure. But yeah. Um, but again, if I went single stranded, or if I was doing the hairband ones or that kind of thing, then I could have gone further with it. I could have explored some other possibilities. I think the hairband thing would probably make a lot of sense, because if you only had 7 strands, right? If we only did each color singular, you only have 7 strands. It would really limit what you could do with the loop. You don't get to have a Kumi at all. Like the 8 is the bare minimal to have the Kumi braid. So I mean, you can do the macrame starts, you can do some of the other starts, things like that. That's fine. I just choose not to do those. I much prefer the more innate, beautiful looking kumis and stuff like that. Um, and I guess you could kind of follow this pattern with 8 strands as opposed to just 7. You would just have to add another color somewhere into the rainbow. So whether you had like 2 reds or 2 purples or whatever. Grab my drink. So yeah, there is some kind of possibilities there maybe. Um yeah. So I mean, if that's something you guys really want me to explore and mess with, let me know in the comments and we can look into the possibility because it is feasible. I can imagine it still pretty much works the same. So, um what else can I tell you? It's probably easier than I made it out to be. It really kind of, once you get a certain amount of it done, it is a bit predictable. Yeah. I like I said, I kept double checking with my pattern just to make sure I was doing it right. I'm not sure if I was in a situation where I couldn't check my pattern, would I have needed to as much? I don't know. I don't know. It was just really convenient. I was checking it. It just made it easy. I went for it. Um, would I? Oh, you know, this also might look really, really cool in a fade if you were to say do like the beiges, like from a really light beige up to a brown kind of thing. So instead of looking at this as, oh, this is a great rainbow pattern, it's it's a great pattern for colors that move in a series like the rainbow does or like a fade does. You could do it in fades of red or fades of blue, that kind of thing, and it would still come out amazing. So if you want to try a different variation, um, there's some other examples of things that would be really, really neat to do with it. And if you do, I'd love to see it personally. I know that it would look good. I'm probably not going to get around to doing it because I'm going to try to create more videos. I'm going to try to do more things to inspire you guys. So if you do it, let me know. Send it through Discord and or tag me in Instagram and let me see your works because yeah, I get excited about that kind of stuff. I love seeing when I take and create a pattern and other people run with it in their own ways, and are inspired by my work. I love that. So, so we're past the halfway point, and you can see that what I was talking about, where the orange just comes out a little bit, and then it sort of it just kind of goes away, right? It's just a little hint of it. The yellow is obviously way more noticeable. And it, like I said too, like when I was making the pattern, that the middle was going to be this really light colored thing because the yellow and the oranges were going to be there, and the yellow, orange, and white really made, I, like if you look at this from a distance, right, the middle is so much lighter, and that's why it's cool that way. I like that. Um, what else? Yeah, I don't, I might have had something on YouTube or whatever while this was playing, but I think I've lost whatever information I might have gained because I was really pretty focused in. Maybe that's why this went faster, is I was really kind of zoned into what I was doing, which is nice for a change. I mean, that's not something you really always get with ADHD. Like you don't get that strong sense of focus all the time. So that was kind of cool. Um, I should remember that I need to thank my Patreon supporters for making this possible because the end of this video is going to come up all of a sudden and I won't have time for that. So thank you guys so much. Um, it really helps out. I need the string to be able to make this stuff happen, if nothing else. I mean, you guys helped me get cameras. We have cameras. You helped me get the microphone. I have a microphone. Um, I'd like to get this camera replaced. That's down the line. We'll see when, if I can afford that. But for now, everything seems to be working. So, yay. Um, so yeah, here's the diamond around the yellow. Then it's just a little bit, and then there's a diamond around the green, and then the white disappears again. So what else could I possibly tell you about this? Um, Nothing really. I guess I can ask you guys for more blindside creation ideas. All you have to do for the blindside creations is send me a pattern number that you want me to try and tell me what website that came from and tell me how many strings it is. Don't send me a link because the link will sometimes give the like the preview, which kind of spoils the whole thing about it. So you can send me stuff for the blindside creations. That would be awesome because I like to get back into doing those again. Um, if you have questions about bags or doubling up a pattern or things in general that I tend to cover, if you have questions about it, send them this way. Give me a, you can be the inspiration for me for a change, right? You can get me to make a video about your topic to answer your questions. And yeah, that'd be kind of awesome because I never know what it is that I could teach that you guys don't already know. So I kind of I go into these where I just take a pattern and completely make it my own, which honestly, yes, a lot of times when I take a pattern and I split it in the middle and send it the other direction, you know, the my take patterns, that is still a new pattern, right? Um, but not like this. This changes everything. Like this, I did not follow what the original was at all. It goes through transitions. It does a bunch of stuff. That's why I consider this really to be one of my own patterns, is because it's not like really anything else. So yeah. Oh, neat thing too. The white, like the it comes out like at the very edge when you finish off the bracelet, which means it would have been the next in the cycle to have done stuff like after the green, which means like the timing for the whole thing was pretty perfect. Now, mind you, I could probably do, you know, a left right knot and a right left knot, left right right left. Yes. Um, and made it so that way I kept it to the edge or something, but that might have actually changed more going on with the whole pattern. So the timing for all the strings and everything else, I really think it came out as good as it can get. Now, mind you, if you're using like smaller string, like DMC or stuff from Daiso, this bracelet might end up seeming very short to you because, you know, 40 knot length is not huge. Um, and to that, I don't know what to say. You're going to have to tweak the pattern, or maybe the white area goes a little bit longer. That would work. Yeah, you could probably add a whole another row instead of ending on the green, it ends on blue, and that would push everything down, and then the white would come out. little bit after that. So then you just leave the same number of how many of the arrowheads you have at the end. That would totally solve it. So there you go. I didn't expect to answer that question, and off the top of my head, I that would totally work. Yeah, down at this point, you'll notice like I started really kind of going kind of heavy over here on the right hand side, because I started realizing like, holy wow, this is we are nearing the end of this whole thing. So then I kind of went a little bit harder than I normally do for that part. So now the red does its little diamond. Yeah. And so like the big reveal is coming. Obviously, my own personal belief in this is that it is awesome. Hopefully you guys really like it. Um, I would love to see you guys just blow up the whole Instagram with all of you guys just making this pattern. Call it a challenge, call it what you will, but I really think this one came out very, very cool. So yeah, not sure how much we got. We got like a little more than a minute left of this video. So I do want to thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate if you hung around this long. Please give the video a like. That would be absolutely awesome. It helps get the video seen by more people, and that would help out a lot. Um, yeah, really, I'm at a loss for words for today. I don't know what's going on, but that's seems to be a thing. Yeah, it's just a little bit of the green, then the yellows come together, and then the big reveal. So, again, guys, thanks a whole bunch. And yeah, as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.